Hi everyone, as you know, my name is Ryan Robsky and I'm running to be your SAC president. And I'm just going to tell you a little bit why. My speech is going to be chronological. We're going to start with the olden days and kind of work our way up to where we are today. So for those of you who don't know, my name's Ryan. I'm a fourth year student at Mount A. I study physics, and I didn't really get involved with the SAC until the end of my second year when I ran to be science senator. I ran a campaign. I didn't really know that much about what I was getting myself into, but I was really anxious. I was really passionate about getting involved, especially in student government. I ran, I was successful, and then something unique happened to me. About a month and a half into my term as science senator, the then VP academic, Brian Krause, resigned. Now, this was disappointing. It left the senators, I think, at the time with, without a leader, because we really looked up to the VP academic as our leader. So I did talk to all of the other senators at the time, and with their consent and blessing, I ran to be VP academic, resigning my position as science senator. And that was a risk I took. I kind of put it out on the line. I ran, and I was successful. And I got into that job, and again, I was really passionate, and I really did want to inspire change, but I hadn't seen all of the administrative work behind what, being a SAC executive involved. So, I quickly learned that it was going to be much more of a commitment than I thought, but I had a few goals in mind that I stuck to. One of the main ones being student evaluation of teaching, and I know this is an issue that you've heard about being upper year students, but for those of you who don't know, student evaluations of teaching has been an issue that we fought for the SAC for 10 years at least, as far back as our records go, and professors can remember. In Senate, something got passed in 2006 that said every single course will have a teaching evaluation, and then we finally made progress on it. Now, it was my year's work. We put a committee together. I was on this committee. We drafted a policy. We drafted a discussion paper because we knew this would be a contentious issue. And it finally, actually just 2 days ago, the policy finally got passed through Senate. And so that's something I'm really proud about and really demonstrates how, I am working hard and I am getting results. Talking briefly again about the end of last year, I thought at the time, there was still work to be done with the SAC. I still had the passion that I had when I ran to be VP academic and science senator. And so I ran for president. And unfortunately, I was unsuccessful. Paul, who was the gentleman who won by 1.9% of the vote, so 19 votes. And, it was really close and it was really discouraging. But, I kind of picked myself up, and at the time, I went out, I talked to students, and a lot of students actually approached me and asked, are you running again? Can you run again? You definitely should. And that's kind of the motivation, the encouragement that, I really needed to, light the fire under my bum and get going again to launch this new campaign, which has been, difficult and definitely has been impeding on my schoolwork quite a bit and my sleep. So this time, I'm still talking about all the issues I was talking about last time, which is increasing communication and accountability of the SAC, which is a big issue I think we need to address. The facilities that are deteriorating or becoming unacceptable, I guess, on campus, and our green and our environmental practices. So please ask me questions about those, whether it's now, whether it's in the question period or afterwards. But something new that I'm talking about this time is rebranding the SAC. So just for those of you who don't know, every student pays $150 into the SAC every year, $150.40. And that makes you an investor. That makes you a shareholder in what the SAC does, and that gives you a voice. Now, I don't think that every student knows what's going on in the SAC. If I ask students at the end of the year, do you feel like you got $150 worth of services, representation, quality from your SAC? I would suspect most of the students would say no, and in fact, some that I've asked already have said no, not $150. So I think that it's not because the SAC isn't doing great things, it's not investing your money properly, and it's not allocating the resources it has in the right areas. I think it's because students just don't know. And I think that's kind of where it needs to come from. I think the engagement needs to be a huge aspect. I feel like I'm a very approachable person. I know, all of the faces I think here in this room tonight. Hopefully I've had a personal conversation with you. I feel like that's what this is about. The SAC president needs to go out, talk to students individually, and be that approachable voice representation to bring some legitimacy back to the SAC, start talking about openness and transparency, and develop that trust and faith that we really need to actually achieve our goals, to give us the momentum to move forward. So as SAC president, I do want to use the knowledge I've had from my executive experience already working on the SAC, the relationships I've built that have taken me, all year to develop with some of the administration members, and I still have lots of political capital I do want to spend on fighting for your issues. So, that's what really this campaign's about for me. I do have a little bit of time left, so I'm going to talk briefly about a few plans that 1 minute left, talk about the communication. I feel like things as simple as, a quarterly newsletter that the SAC sends out and says, this is what we've been talking about. One initiative we started last year was the SAC actually went and purchased meal hall passes. Something simple like that to encourage the executive members, encourage the senators and the councilors to go to meal hall, to talk to students, to engage students one-on-one. Something as simple as that is all we need to move in the direction of, accountability, of openness, to be able to engage our students to, really have that trust and faith in the SAC. So I do hope that you support me in the campaign, and even if you don't, please bring me your ideas, regardless of whether I win or lose, because I do really care about student issues and I do really want to represent you. So thank you.